Every time he put his wrinkly hands on me, I just sat there, not doing anything. I hated it, but never told him that, thinking he might just lose his temper and do something to me. I never even talked about it to anyone. I was too ashamed to admit I let a 50-year-old homeless man sleep in my house, and now I can't get rid of him. Recently, I befriended a homeless man. I am 32 and he is 50, but that didn't bother me. He spent his time selling magazines in front of the grocery store, so at first our relationship was only me giving him some snacks after shopping and having a little chat. Our conversations were getting longer every day. He understood me and I felt safe around him, so I invited him for a burger at a restaurant. We had a great time, so it became a regular thing. Every Tuesday and Thursday we went for some food. This went on for a few months. One Thursday evening, I told him that I bought a new drawer and need some help installing it. He kindly offered to help, so we went to my place to put it together. After we were finished, I told him he could stay the night. He accepted and slept over on the couch. That was the worst decision I made in my life. In the morning, I had to go to work and I asked him to leave. He ignored me. I asked again and he said he'll leave when I get back home. I didn't like that, but I was late for work, so I just left. When I came home, he was still there. Politely, I told him that I need some space to myself and he should leave. With a calm voice, he said, "Honey, don't make a big deal out of it. I'll leave when it's time for me to leave." I should have called the cops right then and there, but instead I smiled and said, "Sure, you can stay another night." After that, my life became a disaster. From that day on, when I asked him to leave, he made me feel guilty for him not having a place to stay, saying things like, "Do you really want me to sleep out there in the cold? I know you don't want that for me, honey. I might get robbed sleeping in the streets. It's a cruel world out there, don't make me leave, honey." I hated when he called me that. Things just got weirder and weirder. He was standing and sitting uncomfortably close to me and massaging me while I ate. I no longer felt safe around that man. Small things made him furious. I once spilled some coffee on the carpet and he lashed out in anger. He grabbed me by my shirt and started yelling at me. I just nodded and apologized. After he let me go, I immediately started cleaning the carpet. That freak made me feel worthless. I was cleaning my carpet in my home spilled by coffee I bought with my money. Yet he was the king and I was his good little girl. I realized I had a homeless stranger living in my house and did nothing about it. I felt so angry and weak. Every day I made a plan on how I'll stand up for myself and demand he leaves my property. Not once did I gather enough courage to do that. His hugs terrify me, and the massages are getting more and more inappropriate. I started losing my mind. The thoughts circling my brain were horrifying. I was going crazy, but nobody around me noticed it. At work, I just pretended everything was okay. And I wasn't going out because he didn't allow me. He convinced me that if I asked for help, he'll get to me before they do. So I just did nothing. One of his many rules is that after work, I have to be home at 5. I finish at 4 and need 20 minutes to get home. So that gives me some time to talk to my co-worker. She is a good person, but we don't really get along well. Nevertheless, one day we went to go get coffee after work. She started to notice some of my strange behavior, but when she asked me about it, I just shrugged it off, saying, "It's nothing." I wanted to tell her everything so badly, I was just too scared he might find out. I don't know how I'm so gullible, but he brainwashed me into thinking that he is so powerful and that I can't do anything without him knowing. When we finished our coffee, I noticed it's already past 5. I was late and didn't notify him. I immediately went home. With my trembling hands, I opened the door to the house, hoping he'll understand. But he didn't. Of course, it made him furious. He aggressively stood up and started stomping towards me. I never saw him this angry. In absolute terror, I ran upstairs and locked myself in my room. In that moment, I thought if I wanted to survive, I have to call the cops. So I did. He was banging on my door, trying to break it down. The things he said in that moment, I could never repeat. Once he heard me talking to police, he suddenly calmed down. He said, "Everything will be fine, we can fix this." After almost a year of him terrorizing me, living in my house, spending my money, I didn't want anything more but for him to be out of my life. I apologized to the policeman and hung up the phone. I had every opportunity to report him. I just couldn't. All that was going through my mind was, "You are weak, you are worthless, be a good girl." I unlocked the door and he punished me. Afterwards, he told me to take a shower and prepare him dinner. I did exactly that. I went outside to check what was going on. He was being detained. The policeman on the phone heard me crying and him yelling and threatening me. They came even though I told them not to. They knew what was going on. When I saw him in handcuffs and all the policemen around me, I finally felt safe. I haven't felt that in a long time. I told them everything, and he got arrested. He got sentenced to 23 years.